The second episode of Welcome to Derry was a significant moment, and we also got a teaser of what to expect from the third episode, with two absolutely gore-filled nightmare sequences that felt very much real. Andy Muschietti might just have much worse things planned for us in the future. But the last episode also set up a whole new set of kids who will end up forming the next Losers Club. And with some of them having witnessed the fates of the previous members, there's not much hope for them yet. Let's take a look at everything that we can expect from episode 3 of Welcome to Derry based on the teaser. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Episode 3 teaser, now you see it. It's almost as if the title of the episode is hinting at what we saw in the final minutes of the previous one, now that we have a look into something that might have transpired during the last cycle of Pennywise's mayhem. While it's not yet clear if it's going to be related to the Bradley gang or something else that either Pennywise or the town buried, we know for sure that it will be a step towards exploring what Pennywise might just be. One moment in the teaser shows a kid at the circus as a man asks him to step right up, and the line echoes throughout the rest of the episode. It clearly indicates that everyone is basically diving deeper into Pennywise's plans, and they might not know what they're getting themselves into. Halloran's Shining. The second episode gave us a tiny hint about how the military is using Dick Halloran as the weapon, with special privileges set aside for him. But that's not all, considering his Shining is actually being actively used by them to seek out Pennywise and use it as a weapon to prevent the nuclear war. It's clear they don't really have any idea what they're dealing with here, but we're used to stories where these men tend to use things they aren't entirely in control of or even fully aware of. But while Halloran did manage to guide them to one of the burial places, General Shaw showed that there's now a bit of desperation, and they want to put him in the air. So Hanlon and Rousseau are tasked with flying him around, even though neither of them seems to be very clear about what Halloran might be doing in the air. Once in the air, Halloran's Shining seems to be giving some significant results, as we can see that he's managed to go deeper into Pennywise's history, as the helicopter must be flying over multiple artifacts. Not only was he getting an active vision, but he was also inside some of his visions, looking at things from the first-person perspective, as if he were part of them. While the series is clearly setting up how much the military is aware of the Shining ability, there's a chance that by the time it's all done and dusted, we'll get the Halloran who ends up going to Overlook Hotel and helping out Danny Torrance. The series is engagingly setting up the multiple worlds of Stephen King lore, and there have already been quite a few of these setup arcs. Bob Gray, Pennywise Origins. Halloran's visions take us on a ride back years, particularly focusing on a circus. The very circus where It might have come across Bob Gray. It was there that It decided to use Bob Gray's personality of Pennywise the Clown, and that's the very clown that has been haunting us. Andy Muschietti has made it quite clear that he wants to engage us with the Pennywise arc and answer all the mysteries left unresolved in the movies. According to him, there are all these enigmas still lingering, enigmas intentionally left unresolved in the book. Part of the greatness of the novel is that you finish 1,200 pages and at the end, you still have no idea what it is and what it wants. It's all speculation. We had conversations with Bill about how great it would be to do an origin story of Bob Gray, this cryptic character, and give him the opportunity to play the human side, the man behind the clown. It's about completing the puzzle and uniting the stories that lead one to another, creating a story with the final purpose of getting to this conclusive event, which is the creation of Pennywise, the incarnation of evil. Even though Pennywise isn't going to make an appearance until later in the series, we might get a complete outline of the character, with his eyes already making an intense and haunting appearance. While the next episode might not entirely delve into what happened to the genuine Bob Gray, it will surely dive into what happened in Pennywise's last cycle, and how he was dealt with by the people who probably ended up burying him. In fact, one of his visions actually shows him at Pennywise's lair as he glances at the mountain of corpses that the dancing clown might have accumulated over the years. Shawshank Prison. There were rumors of Hank Grogan being involved in the disappearance of Maddie Clemens, and now that there's a multiple missing children case, all of it has been pointed directly at Hank Grogan. We even got to see how people were pushing Clint Bowers around to take him into custody, and he used any means necessary to do so. But Grogan's arrest actually ties into another Stephen King work, with Shawshank Prison referenced as the place where Grogan might be sent. Having some idea of this prison based on one of the best prison movies ever made, Shawshank Redemption, we know that Grogan might not have the best fate cut out for him. It's interesting to know that the movie ties into another piece of Stephen King lore, but this piece is one of his most grounded stories ever, without any supernatural elements. Ever since the bus for Shawshank Prison appeared in the trailer for the series, fans have been wondering how it will connect, and there's a chance that it might just be through Grogan's arc now that he's here. It's funny how Bowers managed to make Lily's confession as evidence to bring Grogan in, particularly because he had to use Juniper Hill as a threat. Even though she did manage to give the statement Bowers wanted, the Pennywise scare she got at the store made her mother take her back to Juniper Hill. But the teaser has also pushed for an early release for her. Lily returns. Another major arc tease for Episode 3 was the formation of the Losers Club 2.0, which included the survivors of the previous Losers Club. Leroy isn't the only Hanlon stepping into the Pennywise lore, because his son Will has also joined the new Losers Club, and they're also interested in getting a hold of Pennywise, but using purely scientific methods. According to the previous episode, there was no indication to the authorities or others about what really happened to the kids in the cinema hall, except for Veronica and Lily, who were there. Both of them experienced some really traumatizing visions that Pennywise clearly brought on, and it became clear that they're the following targets, even though the world might not care about any of it. Lily was also sent to Juniper Hill, but it's possible that it was just for a quick checkup, as she is seen returning to school and forming the Losers Club, with their primary motivation this time being to gather evidence of what they witnessed using her camera. I'd say that's some solid thinking that could change a lot about the people who might be interested in helping them. Even though the adults don't seem to care about any of this, there's a chance that the photographic evidence might somehow reach either Leroy or Halloran, and they might be the ones who think differently about it. All of it really depends on whether the new Losers Club actually makes out something or gets caught in the traps laid out for them, with far more brutal nightmares than he's making up this time around. Will is a man of science, and even though Rich might just welcome a whole new rendition of the fears, Will might be someone who could figure out the way to deal with Pennywise this time around. Ronnie and Lily had their differences in the past, because the latter actually made it easier for the authorities to nab Ronnie's father, but now they seem to have buried it and focused on their new purpose, finding evidence that might just get Grogan out of prison and whatever fate is lined up for him at Shawshank. Marvelous verdict. There are a lot of exciting details lining up in the series, and the pace at which the arc is unfolding in the first 2 episodes suggests it won't be slowing down anytime soon. While Pennywise will be taking his time to make his appearance, it will surely be an absolute blast when he does, and it might be a significant event in Derry's history. Do you think it will be the moment where the mist engulfs the entire town? Another primary reference to a piece of work from King? If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.